Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solution, this is The Ramsey Show. It's where we help you win in your life, your money, your work, and your relationships. The phone number to jump in for your question is 888-825-5225. 888-825-5225, toll-free number. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by the incomparable George Kamel.
Very
with a
kind.
K. That's Kamel if you're keeping score at home. I love that we were on a national network recently. We shall not name them.
Thank
and
you.
a well-known host called you Kamel.
Kamel.
And
I think it's regal. It sounds nice.
It sounded great, but I'm over there. We were on opposite ends of this little riser or whatever.
Yep.
And I'm trying not to get the church giggles.
I know.
So I wanted to make sure that everybody knows your name is Kamel.
It's like the animal. People
Just
think
like
it's going to be weird,
animal.
but I appreciate that, Ken, for calling it out.
You have my favorite denim jacket on today. It's
I
like
only
your
wear
uniform.
denim.
Only
If for
when
some
we're
reason,
together.
It tickles Ken when I wear denim.
It does. And so let's get to it. You ready to help some people?
Let's do this.
All right. We're going to Courtney, who's joining us in Raleigh, North Carolina. Courtney, how can we help?
Hey, thank you for taking my call.
You bet.
So we just completed a very significant home repair, very unexpected, for about $270,000.
Oh, my
What in
gosh.
the home
Hold the phone. What
Did
was
it burn
this?
down and you rebuilt it?
We were actually victims of fraud.
Oh, no.
There was significant water damage, termite damage, a lot of issues that were hidden.
Oh, so they
And,
sold you a house that was just a disaster and you didn't know it. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
But $270,000, did you just gut this thing down to the studs and start over?
Basically, yes.
Oh, bless your heart.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes,
And you have no
exactly.
recourse here.
We actually do. We are pursuing that path. But we are of the mindset that we are in control of our destiny. And so
I like that.
we want to, consider any levers that we can pull to accelerate getting out of this mess. We were lucky to be able to cash flow about $150,000 of it. But we had to take out some loans, a 401k loan and a home equity loan, to just get through it. So my question is, should we sell the house and be able to accelerate this mess by probably a year and a half?
So what is your total consumer debt? Put the home equity loan aside, the 401k loan aside. Do you have any other consumer debt?
We do. So we did stupid and went to buy 2 cars before all of this, before knowing anything about the house. So we have a student loan for $9,000 and then 2 cars for $45,000. So a total of about $54,000 in consumer debt, in addition to the 401k loan and the home equity.
Okay. And what is remaining on the 401k loan, the home equity loan?
$12,000 on the 401k loan and $97,000 on the HELOC.
Is that on top of your mortgage?
Yes.
Oh, dear Lord. Okay. What's left on the mortgage?
$350,000.
And what's your household income?
It's about $200,000.
Okay, good. We've got a good shovel to work with here. But goodness gracious, we've got a pile of debt. So what could this house sell for now that you fixed it up? I imagine you did not ROI in the least bit on this.
We did not. We weren't even considering selling it at that time, but we met with our realtor, and he thinks we can get $600 for it.
Okay. So you sell it for $600. You get rid of the 401k loan, the home equity loan, the mortgage. You'd get rid of all of your debt completely and still have a little bit left over to start with, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, here's the thing. Selling a home is a last-ditch effort for me, but this feels like one of those situations where I go, you guys aren't going to be able to breathe at night. And I imagine the emotional turmoil you've experienced just rebuilding this place, it's kind of giving you the ick.
It is, especially my husband. I think there's more so the mathematics make sense behind it. I think we're just dealing with the emotional side of should we sell it and just move on.
I mean, does he resent the house? Because I resent this house, and I've only known about it for 4 minutes.
He very much resents
Okay,
this house.
then I almost always agree with George. and that's going to swell his head. I disagree that this is last ditch in this situation. I think this is option A. I would sell the house.
Oh.
Okay.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Clean slate.
Yeah.
It's been a massive pain in their rear. It's just nightmarish, as you say, to try to dig out of this. They can. But why not just get free and clear of it all? And if you got to rent for a year, you got an income where you can get up a nice down payment, you go into it fresh and you go, we learned a lot. This is one of those, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. And they don't lose if they sell and they get out. And they're so much more educated, but they're free of all of this. I don't know.
The hardest part is going to be freeing yourselves of the guilt, the shame, the stupid tax, the sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah.
All of that is going to be the hardest part. The numbers we can deal with. You guys have a great income. You can clear your debt and still walk away with probably, what, 50 grand?
Mm-hmm.
I would do it tonight.
And then we'll
I'd
restart.
have a sign in the yard like within 5 minutes of this phone call if it were me. This is a no-brainer. Is that where you all were leaning before you called?
Yes, because the home can no longer give us what we want. We bought it before having kids, and now we have a daughter, and the location just isn't, there's not a lot of younger families in our area, so
now there's
it's
extra
great
reason.
for what it is.
Yeah.
But
This is one of many
there's
reasons.
extra reasons.
Courtney, for the benefit of the audience, can you explain how this fraud happened? Did you not get an inspection? How did you get swindled here?
We did have an inspection. It was a result of flippers coming in and flipping the property. They had done some work on it, but we later found out that they did not do honest work on it and really tried to spend as little as possible to just make sure it didn't fall down before the sale.
But the inspector caught nothing. The inspector was like, this house is in tip-top shape. Go for it.
Yes.
The inspector needs to be sued at this point. That's insane. Have you gotten back in touch with the inspector and said, here's what we had to do?
We have, yes.
And what did they have to say about it?
They've pretty much thrown their hands in the air and said that they're not liable.
Is it stuff that they couldn't see in the general inspection, meaning behind drywall?
Yeah.
So you discovered it only
Yeah.
when you started doing some renovations?
Yeah, pulling back the siding and realizing what was underneath it.
Okay, not to defend the inspector, but Stacy and I had this happen in the home we're in now. George, you've been there. That front room, we were putting shelves in, and so we saw some mold on the drywall underneath some trim.
Oh.
And so not everything can be seen like that. So again, not trying to defend the inspector, but sometimes that can happen. There was a leak where rainwater was getting in a small crevice in an area of brick up against the house. Anyway, the point is that can happen.
I'm so sorry, Courtney.
But hey, listen, I'm glad that they can get out of it. So thanks for the call. More Ramsey Show coming up.
If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Go to Blinds.com now to get up to 50% off. That's Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show, where we talk to you, for you, about your life, specifically your money, your work, and your relationships. If you want to win in those areas, we're here for you. It's a free phone call at 888-825-5225. I'm Ken Coleman. I'll talk with you about your work situation. Can you make the income you want and the impact that you dream about? The answer is yes. Can you do it while you're in the baby steps? Yes. I'll walk through any of your work or income-related questions today. And then George Campbell, my friend and colleague, will walk you through the baby steps and your money questions. And George and I have been friends a long time. How long have we've been?
Over a decade now.
Yeah. And
Probably 2010.
George has his areas of expertise outside of our work, and I do as well. And what I love about our relationship is I'm into sports and you are not. Is that
100%.
fair?
That's a very fair assessment.
Yeah, and so that's great. But yet we enjoy talking about sports because
I enjoy learning from you. You're a great teacher.
So I thought, how about we combine my love of football and your love of budgeting and numbers, and so I thought this is an interesting article.
Let's do it.
Are you ready for this?
Okay.
So in my hands here, we've got a blog here, and this is a survey, and they've written about the story, the survey, and here's the headline: what's the score on consumer spending this football season?
Ooh.
Now, see, I knew that's a football headline that would get you excited. So here we go. Experian did a survey asking football fans. Now, this would be college football. Are you familiar with this?
Well, did they not count the NFL?
You didn't let me finish.
Oh, sorry.
You got answer the questions as they come to you.
Okay.
Are you familiar with that?
I am
colleges
familiar.
and universities have football teams?
Yes.
All right, big
I know
business.
about the SEC.
Okay, great. Big business.
Yeah.
Big money. And then, of course, the NFL. All right. So
Which is even bigger money, I imagine.
Oh, yeah. They surveyed football fans, college and NFL fans, and they asked them what they spend for the pregame experience. That would be tailgating. Are you familiar with this concept?
Yeah, but the whole pregame thing feels strange to me still.
Well, you got to get there ahead of time.
You make a whole day of it.
You do. Well, you get there early because you got to anyway. And so people
Hang out in the parking lot.
It's the old idea of dropping the tailgate of a truck is where this comes from. You sit on the tailgate, or you get a big cooler and you got your 12 packs, your 6 packs, your snacks.
And it's gotten out of hand. I mean, they have tents,
Well,
they've
now-
got chair. I mean, there's furniture
it's a culture.
involved.
It's a culture now. People
Okay.
bringing RVs, giant TVs, watching the pregame, postgame in the parking lot. It's amazing.
I can enjoy that part. Would you
know
take
what?
me?
I'm going to take you to a football game and tailgate. It'll be great content for YouTube.
We can film it
For
all.
your YouTube
we'll strap
channel.
on some GoPros.
So here's what they found. How much are you spending pregame during a football game? And that would include everything from chips and salsa on the couch at their home to tickets on the 50-yard line. So this is any money you spend on football, all right?
Okay.
And here's what they found. That fans expect to spend an average of $743 on football throughout the whole 2023 season. About 1 in 5 say they anticipate they'll overspend on football this year. 12% saying they're likely to go into, hold it, George, debt. Go into debt, presumably on the credit card, to finance their football fandom.
To go to the game. That's the big thing.
Or have a party at the house. Maybe they're spending money, extra grocery money they can't afford to
sad.
cook some wings, have a football party
Just
for
do a
Monday Night
potluck.
Football.
Say you bring the chips and dip. I'll bring the buffalo chicken dip, you know.
All right, now hold on. This is going to give you heartburn. 20% of fans said they'd be willing to take on $5,000 in debt to get to see their team play in a championship game. So maybe the AFC or NFC conference championship or the Super Bowl or a bowl game. What do you think about that?
Well, it's confusing. Are they saying, hey, I want to see my team win? Or are they saying, hey, if your team makes it to the championship, I'm willing to take on $5,000 in debt to go to that game?
Yeah.
That's insane. Because these are the same people making fun of Taylor Swift fans for spending $2,000 for Taylor Swift tickets. They have no right to do that after spending $5,000 to see their team win a championship.
Let me throw another one at you. 33% of the fans surveyed said they would eliminate their outstanding debt in exchange for their favorite NFL team not winning a championship for another 20 years.
That's a very confusing survey question.
It really is. Do you understand it?
So they'd saying, hey, I would get rid of my debt in exchange for my team not winning a championship for 20 years.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. They're saying they'd rather, like the pain of paying off debt
Yeah.
They're like, I would take that over my team not winning for 20 years. I feel like based on the teams you enjoy, Ken, you wouldn't have to even make that bet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, who are you rooting for? Well, you're a Georgia Bulldog guy, right?
No, I'm a Michigan Wolverine fan first and foremost.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, it's more for our Tennessee fans and probably the Jets fans out there.
Yeah, but you see what they're going. It's like you've nailed it. They're exchanging.
But that
the pain.
love of the game is
They
driving
love
them to
their
terrible
team.
decisions.
Yes, that's the point. So here's what I wanted your take on, George, financially. The word fan comes from fanatic.
Yes.
You got that? And so people are making fanatical decisions that are hurting them financially. The one that stuck out to me the most was the $5,000, willing to go into debt to go on a trip and see your team play. Go into debt. You
I can
bring
see
that
how
home with you.
the mental gymnastics they used to get there makes sense to me because they go, Ken, this could be the only time they ever make it to the championship.
Yeah.
So they start to play all these scenarios in their head and they go, this is it. I'm going to be able to tell my kids I was at that game.
Right.
That's the narrative they're playing in their head.
Yeah. Now, what did you think of the $743? I actually thought that was kind of low. These people aren't spending a ton because $743 over a full season.
Well, for two people going
It's
to
not
a
that
game,
much.
it feels like that's it. You just blew that $750 if you're going to
You're
a
going to
game.
be close if you talk about
Especially
parking,
travel, parking,
you talk about
food,
parking, gas, food, the tickets could be well over $250.
I have no
$300.
clue. I have no scale for what a game costs these days.
Well, a cheap seat ticket could cost you anywhere from $45 to $50. Cheap seat, depending on where it is. To the NFL, you're paying several $100s each for a ticket.
Can I be honest? I've been to one game.
Which
I got
game
the tickets
was
for
it?
free. It was a Titans-Patriots game.
Okay.
And I'm from Boston.
Right.
And I own a Brady jersey because the team bought it for me
Right.
for a live event we did.
But you don't even know his first name.
Tom.
Oh, okay.
I
good.
know that
That's a
much.
little bit more than I expected.
I know
I'm
that
very
much.
proud of you.
But they got spanked by the Titans. It was embarrassing. I was pulling my jacket over the jersey. But let me tell you, I was staring at the big screen the whole time because I couldn't see from these cheap seats what was going on the field. And I went, I would rather watch this at home than just listen to people screaming at me. You have no commentary you can listen to like you can on TV.
Right.
And for that reason, I'm out on live football right now. But I would go with you. Could
Yeah.
we do the face paint and everything?
You are the only person that I would paint my face for because that would be funny. You
That
and I
means
would
the
get
world.
it.
Take that, Stacey Coleman.
Yeah.
I'm the only person in the world he would do that for.
Right. Well, first of all, Stacey wouldn't let me do it. She'd be embarrassed. You, on the other hand, would enjoy it because you'd make fun of me for years.
Well, I
which
think
is great.
at the end of the day, I'm okay with people loving sports. I have nothing against that.
Yes, but
going into debt for it,
$5,000 on your credit card.
it's not fandom. It's financially dumb, and I stand by that.
I think you're right. And at some point, you've got to go, what is most important? So so let's just talk about some discipline here. What's the emotional and mental exercise that someone who's trying to get out of debt, let's put them in baby step 2. I mean, they're supposed to be ricing and beans in it,
Yep.
right? And they love their team. I mean, even if they have a party, let's say that they just started the debt-free journey.
They
And-
should not be throwing the party. They should be attending the friend's party who paid for the cable, and they
Okay.
can bring a side.
Okay.
That's it. It's that simple. But don't put that on yourself, and don't sign up for the NFL package or whatever. Paying an extra $50 a month to
Now you're-
access all of this.
Now
I'm
you're stepping on toes.
I'm just saying, if you're in debt, you need to have priorities. Go down to your local sports bar and go watch the game with some buddies and get yourself a nice water and enjoy the game.
Okay, I like that. I was also going to suggest that with Dave Ramsey's, decades-long advice of rice and beans, beans and rice, you could make a nice bean dip and
People
be a
love
hero.
it. A 7-layer bean dip goes a long way.
So a lot of beans out there, and you put some beans together, bean dip. I'm sure there's got to. That's what you need to do. You need to do a YouTube video on how to make a
For the big
budget-friendly
game?
bean dip to take to the big game.
If
People
America
wanna
would watch
see you
it,
do that.
I would make it. I'm here to troll the sports fans, and we enjoy it.
Guarantee you that hits big on your YouTube channel.
Here's the thing, just budget for it. Put a line item. If you want to go to the game, get the jersey, throw the party, that's fine. But don't go into debt for fandom.
I agree. And by the way, if you'd like to bring some bean dip to the Ramsey office next time George and I are together, we will sample it live
I
on the
will
show.
not be eating
I
bean dip
will.
from strangers.
I trust the people. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, being free to make your own medical decisions is a big deal these days. Christian Healthcare Ministries gives members the freedom to choose the doctors and providers they want without the frustration of worrying about networks and with no waiting period to join. It's a membership-based nonprofit ministry where hundreds of thousands of Christians share funds to pay for and pray for each other's medical bills. For over 40 years, CHM has helped families living across all 50 states. So see if CHM could be right for your family. Check out more today at chministries.org/budget.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. I'm joined by George Camel this hour. We're here for you to talk to you about your money. How about your work, your income? Are you feeling like you got a lid on you? Well, I can help you there, and George is here to answer your money questions. 888-825-5225 is the number. That's 888-825-5225. Kara joins us now in Providence, Rhode Island. Kara, how can we help?
Hey, Ken and George. How are you today?
Good. What's going on?
Just a quick comment about your NFL thing, and then I get to my quick question.
Oh, I love it.
I just have to laugh because, first off, my husband and I were looking, because of just how crazy streaming is right now, to be able to stream football. We were looking at some of our options, and it's like it's over $900 a year, just depending on what service you're using, which is just absolutely insane.
$75 a month. Yep. No, thank you.
Yes. And then my other thing was, George, you are aware that hummus is a bean dip, right?
That's true. Thank you, Kara, the food of my people. Well, I'll make some of Mama Camel's hummus recipe, Ken.
Yeah, we did a hummus. We did a hummus feature one time on the show together.
That's right.
George and I love hummus.
Love talking hummus.
Yeah. By the way, James Childs, our fearless leader, does as well. So thank you for pointing that out.
Love the commentary.
And so you show up at the football party with some hummus. Yeah, it's a great suggestion by you, the listener. So, okay, how can we help?
Okay, so I'm on baby step 2, and we've got kind of a big mountain to roll down, which is fine. We're working on it. But I have this little brokerage account and this little employee stock purchase account that I have stopped contributing to because of where I'm at in the baby steps. I guess my question is, though, because it's a few $1,000s, I could cash those 2 things out and just knock out about 3 small debts all in one shot. It would be the short-term capital gains taxes that I'm worried about. It's not a huge amount of money, so like the taxes wouldn't be insane. I guess my question is, because it's so small, should I just leave it and still keep plowing away, or I kind of really want that momentum?
I think the momentum beats out the tax hit, which I assume is going to be a few $100 at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's not a huge amount of money, but like I said, it would just knock out 3 debts in one shot. So
that's amazing. So what's sitting in these in the ESPP and the brokerage account?
There's I want to say $1,500 of the company that I work for in the ESPP, obviously, and then it's $2,500 in the brokerage. So yeah, that was just kind of
$4,000 we can throw at debt, and you'll knock out 3 of them, which frees up those payments.
Yeah, that was my question.
Do it.
100%. And I'll tell you this, Kara, as someone who did that at the tail end of my debt-free journey, getting rid of $40,000 in student loans and credit cards. I had worked at the Apple store, and I was just an 18-year-old, and they said, hey, we've got the stock thing. And I was like, okay, whatever. I didn't know what I was doing. And so it ended up to be like $7,000 or something sitting in that account that helped, kind of kickstart my adult journey and get me through the baby steps. And people go, George, that could have turned into $50,000 if you just left it. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm debt-free today, living my best life. I'm not worried about what could have been. And that's what you have to worry about now, is not looking back in 5 years from now going, if I had just kept those stocks, it could have been this much. Because guess what? You're going to be investing faster if you're out of debt sooner, right?
Yes.
And investing more.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense. I appreciate it. I guess it's kind of like a mindset split.
100%. It's more mindset than the numbers, because that few $100 you'll pay on that is going to be nothing compared to the feeling of debt freedom.
Love that.
Awesome.
And
Thanks.
Carol,
hey, I'll
one
be at
day.
that football party with my Brady jersey on.
There it is.
Okay.
Hey, listen. All right? Got to ask you, Kara. Do you keep Belichick or do you fire him? You're on the spot.
I mean, honestly, I'm going to keep him.
Oh, there it is, folks. All right, a little bit of football. You can look him up later.
I
He's the
know.
head
He's the
coach.
grumpy guy.
Oh,
He's
is.
always looking so grumpy.
You know, because he realizes he cut his sleeves off his sweatshirt and he regrets that. I think every game he's like, that was a bad move.
Shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks for the call, Kara. All right, let's go to Albuquerque, New Mexico. John joins us there. John, how can we help?
Hi, guys. How you doing this morning?
We're having a blast. What's going on?
Okay, so I have a question. I was wondering if it would be a good idea to do a 401k loan to pay off a lot of debt that I have in collections. Why I ask is because 18 months ago I was injured at work, and my company shut down, a 100-year-old trucking company. And I have a new job, but I have to get my Q clearance for secret documents and stuff. I'm wondering if that's going to inhibit me from getting that job, having the debt in collections.
Do you have any evidence that that would be the case?
Nobody's told me that. They said, as long as you show that, you're paying it, I have a plan, and I'm working on paying them.
How much do you owe? What's in collection?
So I have about $7K total, because when I was hurt, I was only making 2/3 of my income, which is why I kind of got behind. I have $7,000. I was sued last month for $3,400, and I'm paying off another judgment at the end of this month.
So what is your income now?
The new job is going to be, before I get my clearances, $90,000, and then I get an extra $20,000 after I get my clearance.
But are you currently working?
Yes, I'm working with them. I'm going through the process now. I submitted all my documents.
Hold on, you're saying you're already getting paid by these people?
Yes.
Okay, but you don't have the job yet.
Yeah, I have the job. I'm going to work. I'm training. It's going to be training for...
We're confused because you said the new job that you're hoping to get, and you're worried that you couldn't get it with all this collection. Now you're saying you're working for them, so we're really confused.
Okay, so I'm working for them. The job is contingent with me getting my clearance. That's why everybody's at the new job is saying, don't worry about it. If you're here,
You're already in the building on the payroll, man. I wouldn't worry about it. And if they ask, then say, hey, listen, here's where I'm at. Let me update them. I'm working on paying this off. Here's what happened. Be honest. Tell them the story and let them know it. It's going to be cleared up real soon.
So no to the 401k loan. You don't need to George, tell him why that's going to make life even worse than getting rid of all this collected debt.
Well, it's putting your future behind, and then they're still going to see a 401k loan if they check your credit report. And so it's not, you're just moving debt from one place to another. And so I'd rather you just be honest and upfront, say, hey, look, and I'm working on settling these debts. They should be cleaned up the next few months. I mean, you're making about 6 figures. How quickly could you pay all of this off making 6 figures? A few months?
Between all the debt we have, I'm thinking, the collections I should be able to pay off in 6 months at least. Our total debt, we're thinking 18 to 24 at max.
So let's prioritize the collections debt to get that out of our life, and then focus on, we'll be making minimum payments on the rest of our consumer debt until we're out of that. Then we'll go hard doing the debt snowball. But just be honest and upfront. Say, hey, listen, less than 6 months, this is cleaned up. Here's what happened. Yeah. But again, you're already on payroll. It's not like...
Yeah, they like you. They've given you some evidence that they're not worried about it. And again, listen, it's not an excuse, but, you went through a tough situation, and people understand that. By the way, do you mind? Was it Yellow Truck? Is that the company you worked for?
Yes.
That's amazing. That's a big story, and that's why I asked him. 100+ year massive company that goes out of business.
Yeah, with our stuff was going on the same time as UPS was, and we were just there in the background. Nobody talked much about it till.
Yeah. It was a national story when it hit because it's such an old company. It's been around a long time in this new economy and the way things are going. And so John that we're talking to here, he got caught up in that, and that's tough stuff. And so I think the moral of the story here is, for anybody that's listening or watching, George, that may have a similar situation, be honest. You know, if people want you and they go, you're a good truck driver, you got a nice track record here. Look, be honest. Don't compound the mistake trying to clean up something
Covering
that
it up
doesn't
with more
need
debt.
to be covered up. That's the takeaway here.
Yeah, I like it.
Wow.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
thanks
glad he
for the
bounced
call.
back. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
Making
glad.
6 figures now.
Yeah, by the way, anybody looking to get a really good paying job, the trucking industry needs reliable drivers. It's a massive opportunity. And you can listen to great podcasts like The Ramsey Show. Maybe even George and Rachel's wildly successful, just a rout of a show.
Now
So
you're just
fun.
ribbing me, Ken.
Huh?
You're just ribbing us.
No, it's a great show. Tell them what the name is.
Smart, money, happy.
There it is. Check it out while you're in the cab. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, if you're in over your head with student loans and tired of getting calls from collection agencies, if private student loan debt is taking away your financial peace and you don't see any way out, you need Y Refi. They're not a debt settlement company and they're not connected to a bank. Y Refi refinances defaulted private student loans that other places won't touch and gives you a custom loan built for you based on your ability to pay. So when you refinance your private student loan debt with Y Refi, you'll have a payment you can afford with a low fixed interest rate you couldn't get anywhere else to help you stick to your budget and work the debt snowball. And you can save thousands of dollars. To learn more about this custom refinancing option and a lump sum payoff option you could qualify for after 24 months, call 844-2-RAMSEY or go to yrefi.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show, where we help you win with your money and in your work and in your relationships. I'm Ken Coleman. I'm joined by George Kimmel this hour, 888-825-5225. Hey, if you are new to the show, welcome. And you hear some jargon, if you will, baby step numbers and gazelle intensity and beans or rice. You go, what is this language? We've got a great button for you called Get Started if you're new to all this. And it only takes you a couple of minutes. Click on the Get Started button at RamseySolutions.com. Quick little survey, and it just catches you up to where you are in the financial journey, the baby steps that we teach, and get you kind of integrated quickly. RamseySolutions.com, the website, the mothership, and click on the Get Started button. All right, let's get back to the phones. Jennifer joins us now in St. Louis, Missouri. Jennifer, how can we help?
Hey guys, how are you doing today?
We're doing great. How are you?
I'm great. I'm calling in. I finished Financial Peach University back in 2015.
Excellent.
I've had everything paid off since then. And recently I was hit by a drunk driver, and I'm in a situation of having to purchase a car.
Oh, no. Are you okay physically?
I am. I'm good.
Okay.
Financially, I don't want to pay for the new one.
Right.
So what happened insurance-wise?
They obviously took all ownership. My car was paid out, but I drove an old beater with a heater. It was old, had a lot of miles on it. It still ran, so I didn't get a lot for it.
Okay, so what was the check they wrote you?
$10,000.
That's something.
It's not bad. I thought it was going to be lower than that.
Yeah. So do you still have the 10,000?
I do, yeah.
Okay. And what's your question today?
So my question today is, all these years I've been saving for a home. The only piece of the process I don't have. I have all this saved up, and now I feel like I need to take money out for a vehicle, and I'm trying to realign what is more important, especially looking at the economy, the market. I'm scared to let go of that money. How much do you spend on a car?
What's your income?
How much should I be putting? About $100,000.
Amazing.
Bonus.
And that's just you?
Yeah, I'm
single?
a single source income.
Okay. Cool. So the parameters on anything with motors in it is no more than 50% of your income. And that includes boats, toys, cars, everything in the house. And so I'm not saying go out and spend $50,000 on a car. You definitely don't need that. I wouldn't suggest it. But I also don't want you to get, a $3,000 car if you don't have to, if you're not struggling in debt trying to climb out of this hole. So do you have any debt right now?
None. I haven't had debt since 2015.
Awesome. And you have an emergency fund?
Yes, a very healthy one.
Great. What are we talking?
90.
Whoa! And that doesn't include the money you save for the house.
Yes.
So how much did you save for the house?
Well, it's all in the same savings.
Oh, okay.
So
it's your total
I'm trying
savings.
To decide, that's my 6 months. Yeah. And then I have been saving money for the house on the side, trying to get out of that 20% or put towards that 20%.
What are you driving right now?
A friend's old car that has a lot of miles on it and might lose a wheel after I turn the corner.
Oh,
Jennifer,
boy.
you have got to take care of you.
Especially after that accident you were in.
My goodness, get yourself a car. What do you want? Can we dream for a moment? Because you got the money.
You earn it, you save it, and you hold on to it. You don't want to let it go.
Yeah, but if you don't figure this out soon, you're going to be driving around a corner and all the wheels are going to come off like some type of cartoon. So that's not fun.
I don't want you calling back in with that call. So
what kind of car do you want?
I was looking at a Blazer or something on the market. I go back and forth on new, used. What is the better option
Let's
right
go
now?
used.
Cars are so expensive.
Let's go used. Unless you've got a net worth of $1 million or more, I don't want you taking that hit on depreciation before you can stomach
right
it.
Now.
But here's the thing. People go, well, George, the used car prices, they're just as much as new.
Not true.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I'm sorry, but it's false.
But it's tight. It's a tight margin there. Yeah.
Well, you're also looking at almost new cars at that point.
Yeah, but what have you been looking at? These Blazers. What are they going for? Something that's 2 or 3, 4 years old. What is it going for?
About 2 or 3, probably about 35, 40.
Okay. Well, what about a 5 to 7 year old version?
I haven't looked there yet.
That's where I would go.
That's where I would go.
I drive a 10-year-old vehicle.
Yeah.
And I'm doing fine financially, but I see no need to just upgrade to the latest and greatest for fun. I do that with iPhones. That's where I do it, Ken, not with cars.
Okay, I like that. Well, a lot less
Much
risk.
smaller price point. So, Jennifer, here's what I would do. I would split your savings. I don't like having a giant pile that's your emergency fund plus car plus down payment because then it hurts. When you parse it out and you put 35 in a car fund and you put 40 in the emergency fund and you put 50 in the house down payment fund, now we have names for these things. So then you don't feel bad spending from the car fund.
Okay, makes sense.
But I would take your time with it. We've got a great car buying guide at RamseySolutions.com that you can access, and it's going to walk you through all the steps. I want you to do this the smart way. Don't be desperate. I know it's a crazy time in the car market. Do a test drive. Get the inspection done. Go to a reputable, independent used car dealership. Do your research ahead of time. You better know more about that car than the dealer does.
Yeah, but can I just say,
Yeah,
I think you do. And Jennifer, listen, I just bought a car for my son. I got another kid coming up in April. I'm looking at used cars all the time because I'm in that market. And I will tell you that if you do some search in your area, search between 15 and 20 grand, smaller mid-size SUVs. Don't limit yourself to a Blazer. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised what you might be able to find. I just got a Ford Explorer for my son, paid $12,000. And it was a 2010, and immaculate condition. 100,000 miles. Bought it from an older couple. Fabulous car for a 17-year-old boy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I pulled that car up to your house right now, you'd go bananas. It's that nice. It's in great shape, inside and out. So I'm just giving you, and I'm telling you, search between 15 and 20, just so you can see what your options are, because that's a number that, George, I think I like that number based on your recommendation. It's nowhere near the 50% mark.
Yeah, I think that's going to make you feel some guilt, and then you're going to see that car depreciate, and because you're a numbers person, it's going to hurt even more. And so that's why I tell you, find the happy middle ground. It doesn't need to be the worst Trailblazer you've ever seen in your life. It doesn't need to be the brand new one. And don't let them talk you into that when you're on the lot, which is why I don't want you to start at the brand new car dealership. Start your search
It's been
online.
overwhelming. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's overwhelming. So start online and start to get a feel for, hey, here's what I can get in this range. Do I want to up it? Do I want to bring it down? And then do the test drive, get the inspection, write a personal check or cashier's check, and be done with it. Don't let them swindle you into warranties and all kinds of random fees.
No. Yeah. I've never purchased it. I've always bought new used. And what I bought new used then is now $20,000 more today. So it's just crazy how much.
That's what hurts even more for those that are car shopping these days.
Yeah. And I'll say this to Jennifer, to our entire audience, George. I'm a fan. I always look at like Facebook Marketplace, things like that, where I can talk to a real person, and I like to go look at the car, talk to them, look them in the eye, say, hey, are you willing to let me take this to my mechanic? And if they are, now you know you're in probably good shape. And all cash is powerful. And you never know who's selling a car right now because they're swimming in debt.
True.
So you walk up and let's say somebody listed a car at 15, and let's say it's right at the blue book value. Maybe it's a little high or whatever. Go in and go, look, I'll give you 13 cash today. Whoa! You never know what could happen there, George. They want cash.
Absolutely.
And you show them the cash. You know?
And I just did a nice search on Auto Trader here, Ken, for fun, and I'm seeing plenty of 2021 Trailblazers going for $20,000 to $26,000. So perfectly in her price range. She's got the cash to do it. Beautiful cars. They look brand new. So
yeah, it's an option.
There it is.
You got options.
This idea that, the brand new ones are $40,000, right? And so, yeah, you could find used ones that are $35,000 if they got a few miles on it, but there's other options out there. Don't back yourself into a corner and make a stupid decision because you wanted it for your own ego. Yeah. That's what people do a lot of the time.
That's right. And everybody wants to say they got the new car, but they're just literally mortgaging their life away to drive a nice new car.
And then they're underwater on it calling our show.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
Yeah, don't
be
do
smart.
That. Oh, it's crazy. My gosh. I'm going to have to get some Pepsi AC on this
Cars,
break.
sports,
Thinking
what an hour
about
for you,
buying
Ken.
Cars for my kids has got me stressed out. But good hour, George. I want to thank James and the crew for keeping us on the air. We want to thank you, America. This is your show. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey, it's Ken. If you like what you heard in this episode and want to know more about getting started on the Ramsey baby steps, go to RamseySolutions.com and click on the Get Started button. We'll help you figure out the best next step for you based on your specific situation. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, this is The Ramsey Show. It's where we help you win in your life, specifically your money, your work, and your relationships. The phone number to jump in for your question is 888-825-5225, 888-825-5225. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my esteemed colleague and dear friend, George Kamel with a K. Kamel if you're keeping score at home. You can follow him on all the socials by punching in those
at George
those
Campbell
letters as well.
And at Ken Coleman, which is confusing because the K for Ken, C for Coleman. Don't get it twisted.
I see a lot of alliteration there. It's easy to remember. Ken Coleman. And all of the Barbie stuff has really changed my name.
Like Kenergy and Sensational.
I largely flew under the radar until the Barbie movie came out, and now everybody's got jokes and puns.
Have you seen it?
I haven't.
I think it's time.
No, my wife and daughter went to see it as appropriate, but I would lose my man card, and so I choose to keep my man card. I'm not going to go see it.
I love that you're assuming it's still there.
I'm going to try to bring the Kenergy. There it is. So I am Knuff. See, all these are just awful.
It just hits different when you say it versus Ryan Gosling. I'm just saying.
I agree.
It's a different tone.
I'll never be as cool as Ryan Gosling, but I digress. To the phones we go, thankfully. Josh is on the line in Austin, Texas. Josh, how can we help?
Yeah, hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Quick question on my mortgage. I got a 30-year ARM mortgage, and it adjusts every 8 years. And I'm coming up on the 8 years, And so the rate, it never goes below 4% and it never goes above 8%. And so I was just wondering, should I refinance it, or is that something that just, just kind of keep just paying extra on it a month?
Have you looked into the terms of what it would look like to refinance?
So I was looking around like kind of online and just looking. I went through Churchill and I contacted them, and they really, I told them, I said, if it's doesn't make sense to refinance it, I'm not going to. And I kind of just dropped the ball and really never followed up with them. And that was a while back when the rates were still, around 5 or 6. So I think they're around like 7 right now.
Yeah, they're just gonna keep climbing as the mortgage interest rates keep climbing.
Getting closer to 8 as we speak.
Because the ARMs are just transferring the risk of rising interest rates to you.
Yeah, and the thing is the amortization charges flips whenever the rate, adjusts. So I'm back at square one anyways. I just didn't know. I mean, we're debt-free right now. We're in 4, 5, and 6. I just didn't know if it makes sense to, just we're making an extra house payment every month as it is towards the mortgage.
I would definitely look into refinancing, and just you can run the numbers. They can show you exactly when you would kind of ROI on this. But right now, rates that we just got the latest numbers, 30 years are at 7.8, 15 years are at 7.03.
Not true. It's jumped over 8 now.
I don't know what site that is.
It's called Google.
Google? Mm-hmm. What do they know?
Yeah.
Who knows what they are right now? But if you can lock in one below 8, you're going to be way better off.
I got you. Yeah, that was my main question. And one other question, if you guys have time.
Sure.
Is it Bluebell ice cream that you are putting these root beer floats, or is it Ben & Jerry's?
It's. Well, I don't know what George's answer is, but for me, it's Bluebell every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Thank you. You can come to Texas
George,
anytime.
call me. See that? I got an invite to Texas.
Call me a bougie New Englander, but I'll take Ben & Jerry's over Bluebell any day.
Oh my gosh, we got to change his mind, Ken.
I know. He lost a lot of votes as being a man of the people. Yeah. I'm way ahead in that race Texas right now.
I'm sorry. Listen, if you can buy it by the gallon, the ice cream's not that great. That's all I'm saying. No shade at Bluebell. But if you can buy it in a giant bucket, how high quality is this ice cream?
There's a reason why it's in the larger container. We want more of it. That's where you missed this. Tell him, Josh.
It's quantity over quality for Ken.
All right. I'm going to stop you while you're ahead, George. You're losing people by the minute. Americans are now going, how can I trust financial advice from a guy who doesn't like Bluebell ice cream? George, you got to read the room.
Ben & Jerry's has more exciting flavors, and I stand by that. Although Bluebell two-step, you can't beat it.
All right. Very good. Let's go to Natalie, who's joining us in Key West, Florida. Natalie, how can we help?
Hi. Thank you so much for taking my question.
You bet.
So my question is, I was in a car accident last month, and long story short, my life kind of flashed before my eyes, and I'm wondering if I should use the settlement money as a buffer until I find something that I truly love, because I'm in a job where I just am not feeling fulfilled.
Mm-hmm. How much money did you get from the settlement?
I got about $22,000. I had just paid off my car, and then the car accident happened. But I did get about $22,000, and I do have some in savings as well.
Do you have a car now?
No.
Is that a problem?
Not. I've been able to manage without it.
What have you been doing for transportation?
I've been getting rides, and the next step for me, I was either thinking about getting a jalopy or taking the bus.
All right, what is your income now?
I make about $90,000 a year.
Wow. What do you do?
I work in hospitality accounting.
Okay. So what is it that you would like to do? Because somebody who has thought long and hard about the question you just asked, can I use my settlement money until I find a job that I enjoy? I think you've probably thought about what it is you'd like to do. So what is it that you would like to do?
So I have been playing around with the ideas of traveling, and I also have some side hustles that I've been doing. I like to thrift and to resell, and also like Amazon influencer with user-generated content. I just feel like if I didn't have this job, I might be able to focus on that. But I think
why can't you do it on the side for now and get that off the ground and see if it's lucrative?
Yeah.
I'm doing it now on the side, but I'm also in grad school, so I haven't been able
Okay.
to focus on it as much as I
Now we're
like
getting
to.
somewhere. Why grad school, and how deep are you into it? Give me the quick answer.
So I have 2 more semesters, and I'm taking classes so I can eventually get my CPA.
I'm
but
so
we
confused.
But you don't want to be a CPA.
I do, but I don't want to work in hospitality accounting.
Okay,
I would do
okay.
probably.
All right, so why don't? Okay, so here's the quick answer because we got about a minute. Okay, here's what I would do if I were you. I would stay in the current accounting job because you're making really nice money. I would use the settlement money that you got to actually pay cash for a good car, so that you have some freedom and options. Okay, and you're making really good money, and so that I would be looking for a path to becoming a CPA in a different industry, i.e. not the hospitality industry. That's what you want to do. And you can keep dawdling around on the side with these side hustles. And if they take off, great. But what you really want to be is a CPA. So I would not use the settlement money to live off of while you try to find a different job. That is not wise. Settlement money, replace the car. Stay in the $90,000 accounting job, finish the grad degree, work the connections. I'm going to give you my best-selling book, The Proximity Principle. Use it to become a CPA in a different industry, and now you have the best of all worlds. Thank you for the call. This is The Ramsey Show.
Very insightful.
Hey folks, you know that sinking feeling when you make an offer on a house you love and then you hear there's another offer? You need the Churchill Mortgage Home Buyer Edge. Super fast pre-approval and a secured interest rate. Plus a $5,000 seller guarantee gives your offer the best chance of being accepted. The Home Buyer Edge from Churchill gives you an advantage over those other guys. Go to churchillmortgage.com today to learn more.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show, where we talk with you about your life, specifically your money, your work, and your relationships. I'm Ken Coleman. George Campbell joins me. The phone number for you to jump in is 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. It's time for our question of the day, and it is sponsored by Neighborly, your hub for home services. It's time to handle those projects before winter makes you push pause. And Neighborly has top quality home service providers like Mr. Rooter, Glass Doctor, and more. So find and book the local help that you need by downloading the Neighborly app today.
Today's question comes from Reese in Kentucky. Buckle up, Ken.
All right.
Thank you all so much. Finding your channel on YouTube last December has been life-changing for me getting out of debt. I've been struggling with deciding to change jobs, and the question I've been struggling with is, how do I move forward in expanding my skills and my career without feeling guilty about leaving my current job? They go on to say, I've been aware for some time that I'm underpaid. However, I know I'm valued considering the added responsibilities that have been given to me since I started here. The company I work for does not offer health insurance or a 401k. I've developed a great working relationship with my supervisor, who has been a great mentor to me. The relationship has me feeling guilty about even applying for other jobs. This is challenging as I try to get through baby step 2, as I know I want to increase my primary income. I found another company offering better pay, incentives, benefits, and 401k options, but I'm afraid leaving my current job, where we're also understaffed, will sour the relationships I've built.
Yeah, so Reese is one of the nicest people on the planet.
Salt of the earth.
And because of that, this guilt is coming over you. And actually, I've coached so many people on this issue that I will start with saying, Reese, and anybody that's feeling this, the guilt is actually an excuse that you're making because you're afraid of moving on. And the change that, you know, any change is fraught with fear because it involves some unknowns. And so guilt comes in as I will be a jerk if I leave this nice boss that I have now. And the bottom line is that you're not doing anything wrong legally. You're not doing anything wrong ethically. So guilt doesn't need to come into the equation. So no guilt. You can be grateful and focus on gratitude, not guilt. Grateful for the opportunity that you had. Grateful for the opportunity that you're getting to make more money and get out of the baby steps faster and move forward. You cannot control what people will say about you when you leave anyway. So don't worry about it. Be classy. Leave the way you would want someone to leave you in the same situation and move forward. So take the job, stop thinking about it.
I'll add this. It reminds me of a quote from a psychologist, Dr. Gabor Mate. I believe that's how you say it. Mm-hmm. Could also be from Brene Brown, according to Deloney. He's heard it there too.
Okay.
Choose guilt over resentment every time. And someone like Reese, because
Sure.
I'm this kind of personality of the kind of the helper, I feel, people pleaser.
Right.
That's who Reese is.
Yeah.
She's going to get resentful over time as she's now feeling stuck. And going, I should have left 5 years ago, but here I am, still stuck today, still underpaid, no benefits. I'd rather her feel guilty than resentful.
I agree. And Ken Coleman, once said, I'd rather disappoint someone than resent them. That's my version. See how I stole that like an artist?
It's more conversational.
So a little extra bonus point. That's how you take someone else's quote and make it your own, and you didn't plagiarize. A little extra bonus content there. But, a lot of people feel that because they don't want to disappoint someone when you leave. And that's just part of it.
Well, it's like a breakup when you leave an employer, especially when you love.
Sad. He's very relational. You can tell that Reese is very relational, and I get that. So there you go. Appreciate the question. Back to the phones we go. 888-825-5225. Michael is on the line in Dover, Delaware. Michael, how can we help?
Hi, Ken and George. Thank you guys so much for taking my call.
You bet. What's up?
So, quick question. I've been heavily, I'm starting basically, hang on, let me read this. I've been investing heavily and I'm about to sell my car to get a reliable $5,000 to $10,000 beater in order to get out of debt. I'm very grateful to have this opportunity, but I'm in sales and I'm moving to a new store in the company with now about a year of experience, where I have the potential to make anywhere from 150 to 250K, with obviously a ton of potential to move beyond that with promotions. My question is, I have a very well-connected family friend over in London, and he actually gave me an opportunity to move into real estate over there. I don't want to regret not making the move, just to kind of expand my horizons. But on the other hand, obviously, I have an amazing opportunity where I'm at, and I don't want to lose opportunity cost, if that makes any sense. So just calling to see what your guys' thoughts are.
So what is the job, this 150 to 250, what is this job? What are you doing?
Yeah. So I'm currently in car sales. In the new position, I'll be making like 150 to 250, but I was making
right. But is that car sales? You're just moving within the industry.
Correct.
Okay, and so this
same dealership, but
same dealership.
Same dealer.
Okay, and do you enjoy selling?
I do like it a lot.
Do you like selling cars more than you would like selling houses?
I guess that's a good question.
That's why I asked it. That's why I'm on the show today.
So what's pulling you towards this buddy in London?
More so than anything, I kind of want to be able to expand my horizons, if that makes any sense. I don't want to feel stuck in one place.
How old are you, Michael?
19.
19. And is this guy, is he successful, or did he just get his real estate license in London and he's like, woohoo, let's have an adventure? What's the story?
So, actually, I got connected through him through a gentleman, through one of the general managers within my car dealership, which is also a very close family friend. And he's been doing it for quite a while. He's very successful in what he's doing.
How old is he?
Runs the whole thing. He's like 24. And so
the 24-year-old is very successful, been doing it a long time. He might be successful, but he's not been doing anything a long time. He's 24. So here's what I'm trying to get to. And I'm old enough to be your dad. It pains me to say that. I'm really trying to play your dad right now. I like the idea at 19 of taking a shot to go to London and work. I like it on the surface. As I think if you're going to do that, I think it's great to see the world. I think
especially
actually,
while you're young.
Yeah, especially while you're young. You can come back and sell cars for this same automotive group, it feels like, when you're done, because it's all close family friends. I love your family. I'd like to be part of your family. Sounds like being part of your family is very advantageous.
I'm very blessed to be in the family I'm in, for sure.
I could tell. So on that, I go, all right, I got 2 wins here. I got 2 check marks for yes. 1, you're 19. You got an opportunity to go see the world and work. 2, you got a great gig that's connected to family relationships, which connected you to this guy in London. So it feels like you could come back at any time. The only thing I don't understand is, do you know that you're going to be able to come in there and sell some houses if you do what this guy tells you? What kind of money is he projecting that you will make, and how long?
Yeah, that's honestly a good question. And my assumption, he told me close to around 200 starting out. So
starting out, you got to sell a house, right, in order to make money.
Right, for sure. Well, so it's supposedly some sort of closing gig. So
okay, so you need more details.
There's a lot of assumptions and supposedlies, and I want firm numbers and facts.
I'm not flying across the pond on a whim, even at 19. So get some details on this. You really want me? What's the training look like? What do you estimate? If I bust my butt, do what you tell me to do, how long would it take me to sell a house? I think if you got a good upside here, and I get the family friend's opinion that connected to this young guy, let's get some more facts. And then if it feels right and it's not a big risk other than, hey, I don't make any money, I come back to my job, then I say go for it. George, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the car sales will always be there. But this adventure at 19, I think he's going to miss out and go, man, what would that have been like? That would have been cool.
I love our good friends over in London. I love high tea. It's about
That's what
that
Ken's
time,
going
George.
for.
Maybe I'll see if James can bring us in a little high tea setup for our next segment. We'll see. I don't have my hopes very high.
No.
This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey folks, Dr. John Deloney here with some great news. You get to choose. Whatever you do, good or bad moving forward, the choice is yours. And when you're intentional about making good choices over time, they become healthy habits, like choosing to slow down and make time for a daily practice of prayer and meditation. One thing that has helped me with a daily practice of meditation and prayer is Hallow. Hallow is the #1 prayer app in the world, and they're giving you 3 months free to get started. That's 3 months free to prioritize your mental health and be intentional about finding peace through calming music, prayers, meditation, and more. And Hallow isn't just Catholic. You can tailor the content towards your faith tradition. If you don't have a faith tradition, this is a great place to learn more about it. From scripture readings and prayers to journaling, Hallow makes it easy to practice mindfulness, build a deeper, more meaningful spiritual life, and choose peace. Remember, Hallow is giving you 90 days free. Imagine the peaceful habits you can establish in 90 days. Go to hallow.com/Ramsey today and follow the simple prompts to start your free 90-day trial. That's hallow.com/Ramsey.
The Ramsey Show continues. I'm Ken Coleman. George Camel is with me. The phone number for you is 888-825-5225, 888-825-5225. Let's go to Dale now, who joins us in San Antonio, Texas. Dale, how can we help?
Yes, I had a question for you guys in regards to tithing. I'm an owner-operator in the oil field. And I don't know if you guys probably remember the oil, all the oil prices tanked a while back.
Mm-hmm.
And, we've been, basically got behind on all of our bills, including our mortgage. And just a month ago, our truck actually caught fire, and the insurance company's not going to cover it. Now we're basically working as a contract driver, only making like 30% of the pay. So, and then we also found out that there's a chance that my wife might be, losing her job here soon, and because she's works off of a contract temporary type job. But basically, we were trying to figure out like what are we supposed to do when it comes to tithing if there may not be any money coming in that week, or not enough to be able to cover the bills since we're behind on pretty much everything.
I'm so sorry to hear about all that, Dale. You guys are going through it, man.
Before we get into that, do you guys have a plan? Are you actively looking for a replacement job for her if that shoe falls, if you will? And then what's your option? What are your options?
Well, my wife is currently looking. It's not very easy to find because she working remotely is the best option for her. But she is looking at other options, even if it includes working at nighttime.
Okay.
But our kids go to a school that's like 30 minutes from us because we're kind of like outside of the city a little ways. And then for myself, basically, I actually got a job driving for the owner of the company I was contracted with, and so the industry is starting to catch back up and starting to get busy again. It's just taking the pay cut is kind of a huge thing, but with really not having any savings at the moment, it's going to be a while before I can save up enough to be able to buy another truck.
Okay.
Even if
do you guys have debt right now?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. So you guys are really at ground zero and baby step one here.
Yeah, and we've actually been at baby step one for a little while. We've been trying to tackle things, but it's been kind of hard.
Well, I think number one, Ken can help you on the career side. We need to find something stable because your wife is wanting to work remote, but these are temporary contracts. So I'd rather her working something that's for a longer period of time that's more stable, and for you to potentially switch fields. I mean, if it's looking like this is not going to bounce back quickly, do you need to switch fields temporarily in order to bring in income?
Right.
And on the tithing side, tithing comes from the first fruits. And so if the harvest is light, the tithe is going to be light. So I wouldn't stress about what happens if there's no income. Just figure out, hey, what was the paycheck this month? All right, we're going to give a little bit of that, and we're going to give a little until we can go back to giving a lot. But it's a really a matter of the heart. I wouldn't stress about it during this time as you guys are trying to get back on your feet.
Okay.
Now, do you have other ideas as to, are you just trying to tread water right now with this current driving job with the boss of the company where you're contracted? Or are you just trying to tread water until the oil industry opens back up? Or is there other driving jobs or anything else, quite frankly, even in a trade where you can get your income back up to where you were?
Well, I don't think there may be a possibility somewhere, but going from an owner operator to a contract driver is just a huge pay decrease no matter what.
Right.
And the industry itself is starting to rebound, and so we have tons of work in the pipeline. So I don't see it being a problem. It's just it's going to be a while before I can actually get back into my own truck.
So how long?
I don't know. It depends on how busy things are, and also in regards to like trying to catch up on our debts because catch up on our bills.
Right, but here's what the reason I'm asking you why is because we need a plan here. And so if on one hand you're telling me the industry's coming back and the pipeline is full to where you could be owner-operator and get your income back up. If I'm understanding you right, that's what you just said. So what is your best guess as to when the pipeline begins to move again and you're back at it again? It's because the income is there so that you can pay the debt off. Because right now you're not making enough. So it's either or. We've got to get busy with 2 or 3 or 4 jobs right now. Or we are treading water until... So I want to know, best guess, when can you be making the money again as the owner-operator?
If I buy the cheapest truck I can get my hands on,
yeah,
it could be 6 months, maybe 3 months. But when it comes to driving truck, it's not like you can take, extra jobs and whatnot. You have to run what you have. You can change companies and stuff like that, but you can't really take on extra jobs.
Oh, you're talking about in regards to your current gig?
Yeah, as a truck driver.
Yeah, but my point is, if I'm swimming in debt and you are, I'm not going to go, well, I can't work extra jobs because of my current job. I go, screw the current job and go get me 3 or 4 of the other ones.
Can you just go work for a different company and drive their truck as a contractor?
Not while working, the company that I'm with.
Okay, what I'm saying is, Dale, listen, I'm going to be tough here in the sense of you are drowning. You need income. And we've got the program, and George can help you, and we walk you through getting rid of the debt, but you need income. And so if it's 6 more months before the pipeline gets back going to where you can get back in the business, buy the cheapest truck possible, and get back on your feet, pay the debt, but it doesn't make sense to just tread water when you're about to drown right now because you go, well, I'm a contract truck driver. Well, go do something else. Go do 3 or 4 or 5 things. I think it's that serious. At least that's how it sounds to me. Am I right or am I wrong?
You are right. It's just that in the industry I'm at, the only way I can make more money is by owning my own truck.
Okay, so I'm going to say it again, Dale. Get out of that industry. You're just driving for somebody else right now. Get out of that industry. Go do something else. You're limiting yourself.
What are you making right now?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm doing right now, though. This is the best thing that.
So what is your income right now, Dale?
Financially.
With this part-time contract stuff?
It's full-time, but it's $100 a year.
Okay. And you're telling me $100 a year, you can't pay off some debt and get back to some foundation?
Well, we can now. The last 6 months have been well below that, and I probably should have left a long time ago to go do something else for a while, and I did.
I think there's other issues here, though. If we're stuck in baby step 1, which is $1,000, and you're bringing in now $100,000, and we're still stuck in this phase.
Right. No, and I understand that. It's just that we started a little late. We started this when everything kind of changed. So we were doing more than 100,000 before that. This is just, we were doing probably.
I think you and your wife need to sit down and make a budget based off what's coming in this month, and go, this is our plan. We're going to stick to it. I'll gift you 1 year of Every Dollar Premium so that it connects to your bank. You can drag the transactions in. But you guys need to agree on this plan because right now it feels like you've been floating through life. Life has happened to you, but you've also just kind of let life happen to you. And it's time to get in the driver's seat, pun intended, Dale.
And just get busy. We are in an economy right now with 3.8% unemployment rate. There are jobs all over the place. Get after it. For heaven's sakes. Go work 5 jobs for 6 months or whatever it takes to get some margin. Don't limit yourself. This is The Ramsey Show.
Well, you've all played the telephone game. The first person whispers a message to the second person, who whispers it to the third, and so on around the table until the original message has completely changed. Multiply that confusion by 100 if you run a business with different software systems that don't talk to each other. That's why there's NetSuite by Oracle. In the early days of Ramsey, we were using different systems for all of our business units. We needed one single source for accurate data. NetSuite was the software we used to optimize and take us to the next level. NetSuite gave us the visibility into all of our numbers so that we could communicate across departments and plan ahead better. And as we grew, it scaled with us. NetSuite worked for Ramsey, and it will make a difference for your business too. Join the more than 34,000 customers who trust NetSuite to help make them smarter and make better decisions and level up their operations. To learn more, get a free product tour at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. George Campbell joins me this hour. And we are thrilled that you are with us talking about your life, specifically your money, your work, and your relationships. And this is very exciting. We have a first-time event that is happening in just weeks. It's our first ever Money and Marriage Getaway. Now, we've done the Money and Marriage events before, George, as you know. I think you and I both hosted a version of those at some point.
They're fun.
But this is a getaway, October 19 through 21 right here on our campus. You and your spouse are going to be equipped with tools to cast vision for your family, set goals, and create a life you both love. At this getaway, you're going to have undistracted time to disconnect from life and reconnect with your spouse. Rachel Cruz, Dr. John Deloney will be your guides as they discuss money, communication, boundaries, and intimacy. And you're going to be on this as well.
I'll be speaking on budgeting. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's one more reason.
One more reason. And Jade Warshaw, let's mention Jade as well. Tickets cost $799 for this multi-day event if you're out of debt
for a couple.
And you've got room in the budget. So, yeah, $799 for a couple. Incidentally, it's very near the number of $735 that NFL and college football fans said they might spend over the course of a season.
Now, one is an investment into the National Football League. One is an investment into your marriage. Choose wisely, guys.
I don't know. I'm going to say that investing in me being a fan is for my mental health.
Oh, there we go. I wish John Deloney was here to psychoanalyze that.
Yeah, I wouldn't care what he had to say because I'm right. When I watch football with my family and friends, it is making me better. Okay.
I learned what Friday Night Lights is thanks to you, Ken. So I appreciate that.
Exactly.
I thought, why are people going to see lights? What's so special about these lights?
Well, it's what's happening under the lights, George. So if you would like to come to Nashville for our Money and Marriage Getaway, don't forget the dates, October 19th through 21. Still a few tickets left. RamseySolutions.com/events. RamseySolutions.com/events. Now, George, you and I, we sit next to each other. Not just when we host a show, but during the day.
That's called a double blessing.
It's a double blessing. George and I actually like each other, but we sit 3 feet away when we are actually in the office, and we talk from time to time about your proclivity. You like that word?
That's a big one.
It is. People look it up.
I'm not sure I can afford
America.
That word.
Yeah. You like to get into the comments, whether it be the YouTubes, the Instagrams, the Facebooks, the TikToks. You're in the comments.
Nothing makes you feel older than adding an S to everything that doesn't need one.
Which is why I do it.
Do you also say Walmart's or Kroger's?
I will start.
Are you that guy?
I'm going to start saying that.
That's my favorite.
I'm going to tell Stacy on the way home, I'm going to the Kroger's.
Well, I feel as young as ever, thanks to you, Ken.
And that's my goal. But you've
it's
got
true.
So you've got an Instagram comment that I want to get
This was
to.
from YouTube, from my YouTube channel.
Oh, I apologize.
And I
need to read my notes better.
So on the George Campbell YouTube channel, at the end of the videos, I'll say, hey, leave a comment with XYZ. And so on this particular video, it was Millionaire Reacts to What I Spend in a Week. I said, hey, let me know in the comments your dumbest money mistakes. Be vulnerable.
Okay.
We'd love to hear it.
Okay.
And so Randomness5074 username said...
That's the username?
Yeah, here it is on the screen.
I don't want to slide by that too quickly.
Do you know what ATM means, Ken? Do you know what that means as an acronym?
Automatic teller machine?
No. At the moment.
Oh, I
ATM.
thought you were... Really?
At the moment, yep. So he says...
See, I don't like all this. It makes me feel so old. I don't know what any of that means.
You'll understand the rest. He said...
I think that WTF means why the face.
Why the frown? There we go. Is that from Modern Family?
It is.
That's a good reference. Yeah. So he said, ATM at the moment, my dumbest purchase was 400 shares of Rivian stock at $65.
Ooh. Now, was Rivian this new SUV I see about
Electric
town?
truck company, very cool cars. Here's the thing, Ken. I then Googled... Well, I'm curious, what's the Rivian share now? Because clearly he's upset that he purchased
400 shares at 65.
Yes, which, by the way, if you're doing the math at home, comes out to $26,000
Oh, boy.
This young person spent.
What's the stock price at now?
It's now at $18. which means 400 times 18, Ken, 7,200.
Do we know why?
Well, I don't think Rivian has been doing great. They've been taking some losses, which has hurt their share price. If you look at the 5-year track here, it's not been going well. But it was a great reminder for those of you, especially young people, who go, you know what? Dave's advice is fine with the 401ks and IRAs, mutual funds, boring. I'm going to get into single stocks. I'm going to put all my money on this one company to do well over the foreseeable future. And I looked at when the price was at 65. It was back around January 2022.
Okay.
And so we're talking, almost coming up on 2 years, and this bet did not pay off.
And I'm guessing that's when the company came out. Like that was their debut.
It's been going downhill for a while. Basically, he bought it on the downslope, and it just kept going down.
Oh boy.
So that is he lost 18 grand so far, 19 grand on this deal.
Wow.
So there's your lesson for those of you out there dabbling in single stocks. I don't own a single stock. I have mutual funds inside of my 401k and IRA that are giant groups of stocks. And so that is the way to diversify, Ken, so you don't get burned on something like this.
Yeah, and so I want to stay here because we have a lot of people that are new to the program coming in. And so I do want to park here. So for the person going, okay, I hear, but that was that stock. They could have done their homework. They should have, all the objections. If you're going to play that single stock and win, you have got to be monitoring that all the time.
Oh, it's obsessive. It's the same.
What would that have to look like? Which I want to add to it's not practical to play the single stock game because you have got to be paying attention all the time. Almost a day trader, if you will.
Yeah, which those folks lose a whole lot of money. And anyone trying to get you into day trading is about to make money off of you, and you're about to lose your butt. And so that's what we've seen time and time again. There's very few that get into single stocks and go, Ken, I did GameStop, and I'm a millionaire now overnight. You get the occasional call like that, but most of them are, hey, I was day trading. I got into single stocks, I got into sports betting, whatever it may be, and I've lost my butt and I'm in debt. Because now the scary part is people are going into debt to gamble.
There's a reason why there are stock professionals and financial experts. And there's a reason why mutual funds have such a great track record over the history with all these stocks coming together. Because you've got the reams of paper, George. Explain
I haven't heard
what these...
that word in a long time. A ream of paper.
Well, I'm bringing them all out today, apparently. But I mean, the amount of research that I want people to understand why we go with mutual funds because of the research involved, the expertise. It's why it's so safe. And as a result, over a long term, you're going to win.
Yes, these are, what we call actively managed funds. And so there's someone who's actively choosing the funds, the stocks that go into these mutual funds, and they have done so much more. That's all they do. They live and breathe what's going on in the news, what companies are up and coming, what the changes they're making are, how that's going to affect share prices. And the best news is I don't look at my 401k every day. I look at it like twice a year.
Yeah.
I can't access it anyways, so I'm just going, cool, good to know.
Right.
Versus single stocks or crypto, you're looking at this stuff all the time, obsessing over it. It's affecting your mental health, your relationships, and of course your finances.
Right. And you could make the case that single stock investing is a bit of the lottery. It's a little bit of roulette, if we may.
It's very volatile, very risky, and I don't own any single stocks. Dave Ramsey doesn't own any single stocks. And for those that are wanting to do it, there's a time and place, and that is when you're already at baby step 7, you're maxing out retirement, and this is play money for you. Mm-hmm. And it's a very, very, very tiny percentage of your world, and you go, all right, if I lose this money, I set it on fire, I'm not going to miss it.
Yeah.
So that's the key with single stocks. And here's my hot take, and I talk about this, a little tease, my new book in January, but here's my hot take on single stocks. Single stocks are like betting all your money on a single racehorse. Mutual funds let you own the racetrack.
Ooh. And that's very good, George.
Sports analogy for you.
I'm very proud of you. That's on paper as in your new book.
Yeah, I worked hard on that one.
Did anybody give you that idea?
No.
You did that on your own?
I was trying to think of a good analogy, and
I must tell you.
My brain wanders into sports sometimes.
I couldn't be any prouder. As an older brother, I'm proud right now that you have come up with a sports analogy for your new book. And it's a great one, by the way, and that's why we've talked about this. Don't get burned on the single stock betting. You might as well go to the racetrack and go, I'll take horse number 12.
All I want to do is go to the Kentucky Derby with you, Ken.
Well, I'm going to wear a seersucker suit. I promise you that, with white bucks.
You were born
and a
for
bow tie.
seersucker.
I look great in seersucker. I'm not going to lie to you. but I digress. Hey, what a great hour. More coming up. Don't move. He's George Camel. I'm Ken Coleman. James Childs and the crew are the best in the business. But we do it all for you, America. It's your show. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, George Camel here. If you love the show and you want a deeper dive on your money journey, we've got a weekly newsletter that gives you helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for the newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, this is The Ramsey Show. It's where we help you win in your life, specifically your money, your work, and your relationships. The phone number to jump in is 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. I'm Ken Coleman. He is George Camel, looking snappy today in his best denim jacket.
So snappy.
Snappy. You haven't been called that in a while, have you?
Well, you use proclivity, esteemed colleague.
Yeah.
I love the $10 words we pick up when you're hosting.
I'm an old soul. I read a lot, and these things just come out. I'm not trying to drop the 50-cent words. And snappy's certainly not.
Well, during the Great Depression, when you should have been alive, those words were 50 cents. Now they're $10 with inflation, Ken.
That's good, George. I like that. The Great Depression. Wow. With that, we are going to do something special every once in a while. By the way, before we get to this, I do want to say this. We have a fabulous, and I do mean this, I don't pick this word lightly, a fabulous group of audience members in the lobby today watching the show.
From all over the world.
All over the world. We've got some Canadians that were out there. We got people from all across the country. And so I want to point out that you can come watch The Ramsey Show live. Go to our website and figure out the calendar. And hopefully these folks aren't disappointed that Dave's not here today. They get us, two of the Davettes. But nonetheless, they're a great group of people. And so we'd love to have you come join us sometime.
You got free cookies and
coffees,
a mug.
I'm having myself a delicious green tea with a little dollop of honey in it. So that's
now you know Ken's drink order, guys.
There you go. But I bring this up because every once in a while we'll take a question from the lobby. And so we've got a question from Lynn, and it's work related. And so we want to protect the old identity there, and sticky, and so she's not on camera. So you're wondering why we aren't showing Lynn? Because the sensitivity of this, so we're going to help her out. So Lynn, take it away. What is your question?
Hey, so I'm really grateful that it's you and not Dave, because you're the guy I was hoping to talk to.
Well,
we're going to clip that.
Can we clip that, James?
I'm going to frame it in your house.
I think I'm going to tell my mom. This is exciting.
Between yesterday and today, we got to see everybody except for Dave, so that's a little sad, but I'm grateful you're here for my question.
I'll tell him.
So I work in healthcare. I've been working in healthcare for about 13 years as a clinician. About 3 years ago, I moved into a hybrid role where I still get to be a clinician, and I also am in leadership. And I've always really loved the place I work for, the coworkers I have, and I really enjoy supervising the about 20 employees that I have. The issue that I'm struggling with is there's about 10 of us in the leadership team, and we're not always on the same page. And so it's gotten to be really difficult to kind of do employee relations and kind of work on the culture because we're not always on the same page and we don't agree on handling things the right way, in the same way all the time. So my question is, how do I know when it's time to move on to a new place and say like, hey, this is just not the right place for me, or when I really should like buckle down and stay and work on the culture from within, since I am a leader?
Okay. So, is there a structure, any structure within the 10 leaders, or are you all equal?
There is. So there's like 6 managers.
Okay.
And then there are 4 supervisors, and I'm one of the supervisors.
Okay.
And so like the 4 of us are the same and the 6 of them are the same, and then it goes on up.
And so this breakdown of we can't get on the same page.
Correct.
Has that been taken up, or is it primarily coming from the 6 above you?
We've gone up the ladder with it. It's that they really believe in like everybody needs to be a unified front. We all have to have like the same agreed response to everything. So it's hard because until you get agreement from everybody, we don't move forward.
It's like a jury every day.
Yes, it is. And so it becomes really hard because I might want to handle an employee relation thing a different way than someone else, but then I can't kind of move forward and kind of manage one of my 20 employees the way they like. I might want to relate to them a little different or whatever, but if the group doesn't agree, then I don't get to do it.
Okay, I will tell you, I think that's bananas.
Okay.
I think it's bananas.
Okay.
I think it is absolutely mind-numbingly stupid.
Okay.
And it's created tremendous frustration for not only you, but I'm guessing for others.
For others in the leadership team, and I think I see it because I try to be really engaged with my employees, and I can see that they're dissatisfied.
Right.
And I think it would be not an easy change, but there'd be a way to change it. But I just don't know if I have the clout from within that team.
Well, it doesn't sound like you do.
Yeah. Probably not.
and so so to answer your question.
Yes, sir.
Do you leave? Or when do you know it's time to leave? I think when you have taken it up the ladder and you've said, this feels problematic, this is grinding us to a halt every time we have to just lead. We've got to go into a jury room and come out all together.
Right.
And this is not a jury.
Yeah.
This is not even Congress. This is a company.
Yeah.
And I think because you've taken it up the ladder and nothing's going to change, I think you have to ask yourself, can you affect culture? That was a secondary part of your question.
Right.
Or do I try to change culture within? Well, I don't know how you change culture if you can't address your team.
True.
So I would tell you that you hit your lid, it feels like to me, on this opportunity. It's time to start looking because I don't think it's going to change.
Right.
And I think it's only a matter of time if you were to just bite the bullet and kind of deal with it, where you go from frustration to resentment.
Right. That's what I'm afraid of because like I said, I've always loved the company. I really love my coworkers. I really like the people I supervise. I don't want to become resentful, but I also, as a leader, I feel like I have an opportunity, so I don't want to abandon people.
Right.
But
you can.
feels
By the
like
way,
it might be time.
by the way, for anybody listening and watching right now, what's maddening about this, George, to me is we have people in a leadership position. It's a group of 10 leaders, and yet no one's actually leading.
There's a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
By the way, folks, you cannot lead from consensus.
Right.
I just want that to sit for a second.
Okay. Yeah.
You cannot lead from consensus. That's not leadership. Leadership, by definition, is you're out front, and you're going, this is where we're going. This is why we're going. This is how we're going. Who's coming with me? It's the Jerry Maguire moment. And this is just bananas to me. So I hate to tell you this because I know you like the company.
Right.
But you won't like the company in too much longer if you keep this up. You can't do this. You're not allowed to lead.
Right.
So you are a leader in title only, and so are the rest of them. So I hate to deliver the bad news, George.
Yeah, leadership. We say leadership is influence, and right now you don't have the power to have any influence, and that could mean a lack of trust. If you're continually running into this, and you're the sole person on the other side of this, going, "Hey, I don't think we should do it this way." That might mean you disagree with the values and principles and the way they run things, and that tells me it might be your time because it's going to lead to resentment. And I'd rather you leave before. When Dave says, when your heart leaves, your butt should follow.
Yeah.
And if that's you, it's time. And you seem very sharp. I think you're going to land in a great place.
Yeah.
But you could, you could have one last ditch effort. Say what you said to us, to your direct leader, and say, "Listen, I'm coming to you privately, not with the group. I want to address this." And if they can't promise any change and they're not making progress, I'm starting to look elsewhere.
You can take that shot. I hate to be a naysayer, but it's not going to happen. That kind of groupthink is very opposite of common sense. And we live in a day and age, folks, where leadership is needed more than ever, but we have so many freaking leaders that are scared of getting criticized, so they don't lead. Massive gap between common sense and groupthink. And this company is groupthink because they're all scared to death to lead. Oh, it's exhausting. Lead. Oh, I need an aspirin. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. He is George Camel, and we are here for you, 888-825-5225. Okay, special request from the audience. I wrapped up the last segment talking about you cannot lead from consensus, and gentleman out there in the lovely green shirt wants me to expound on that. I will just give it 20 seconds. What that means is that you don't lead based on everybody agreeing with what you decide to do. And so consensus is like, I got to get everybody on board. They got to agree with me before I lead. It doesn't work that way. You can cast vision. I'll say, this is where we got to go. And if you're coming with me, great. If you're not, I get it. Move on. The idea of leading from consensus is what a politician does. They check the poll numbers to decide what their next policy is. And so that's what I mean by that statement, and I stand by it. You will drive yourself mad, and you'll never truly lead if you're always looking for consensus. So I hope that makes sense to you, sir. I appreciate the follow-up question. All right, 888-825-5225 is the number to jump in. Let's go to Memphis, Tennessee, where Megan joins us. Megan, how can we help?
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for taking my call.
You bet.
Well, I have a question regarding my job. And I'll start out. First of all, my husband and I are on baby step 2.
Okay.
I say we, but actually I did Financial Peace University, went through all of that, and we are working on the baby steps. But my struggle right now is with my job. Okay. I am currently an educator. I teach special education. Mm-hmm. And since 2020, of course, I know everybody's had issues with things happening, but that was just really a very, very tough year for our students, for us, with all of the virtual learning and everything. And I kept saying, after 2020, everything's going to get better. It's going to be great. And it really hasn't. And so I'm struggling a lot with just physical, mental exhaustion, completely overwhelmed with the job, just because it's not just teaching that we're doing. We have many other things that are on our plate. It's getting harder every year. And this is year 16 for me. And I didn't initially start out in education, but kind of went a roundabout way to get there. And I love working with my special needs students, but I'm just tired.
Yes.
And I don't know what to do.
Okay. Tell me what you love most. Forget all the awful stuff. But what do you love most about working with your special ed students?
I just love the way that they see things. It's a totally different perspective from what typically, you or I might see things, or when they just have that light bulb moment that something clicks. And I work with students that are getting ready to age out of education, and so we work a lot on job skills and different things like that. And that's like my passion, is to work with those young adults and get them life skills, daily living skills. But I just don't know if teaching is the way I need to go about that and continue on, because it's...
Well, I know it's not. So let's go ahead and based on what you said, I agree wholeheartedly with you. You've got to get out of the public school system, okay? But you don't necessarily need to get out of the same type of work. So I would classify your situation as someone who is doing the right thing in the wrong place. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So practically speaking, in Memphis, Tennessee, who, and you don't have to have the answer, but this is the question you have to answer if you can't now, who is helping those young people, or should I say adults, who would have some of the same needs, have aged out of the public school system, but still need that help with job placement, life skills, and such? Who's helping those people?
Well, I think that's a big question in our area, because we don't have a lot of that. And
do you have some of it? It's
very difficult. We have some, yes. Okay. And a lot of it is parent-led. We've had parents that have started doing like recreational things with a group of students in the area, and that's wonderful.
But are there organizations, whether it be nonprofit or governmental, that again are not in the public school environment? Are there organizations serving that group of folks?
Yes.
That's the answer. What's that?
I said I feel that that's limited, but there are some organizations.
What do you mean by limited? Just the amount of organizations that are doing it, or
yes?
Okay, but have you looked at those organizations to see if they're hiring?
Not yet.
That's where
that
we
will be
start.
what I do when I get off the phone with you.
Perfect. No, that's great. Listen, and that's what I'm trying to do. Let's start there. I don't think you need to limit yourself there, but let's start there. Let's kick the tires. What are you making right now as a teacher?
About $70,000.
Okay, so I'll be honest with you. It might be difficult to find a job making $70,000. Are you in a double income family? Do you need to make $70,000?
Probably to keep that snowball going.
Good.
That would be
Okay.
the best.
All right,
But
so
my
now-
husband's also an educator.
Right. So here's where I want to pivot. We start with kicking the tires in the space that you're in, but then let's just pull back. And the reason that I asked you the question, Megan, what do you love most about working with those students in the special ed system, is I wanted you to hear yourself say, this is the kind of work that lights me up. And there's a level of instruction. Doesn't mean you have to stay in a classroom environment in the public school system, but is there a level of instruction, HR training, working and instructing people within the trades, or maybe working for, you start to go, where can I instruct people who need that extra hand up? And they don't have to be in special needs situations, but maybe it's lower income people who are getting trained in a certain area by a government agency or whatever. You start to just look everywhere you can in Memphis to go, where can I serve people who need that extra help, need that dedication of a teacher, the heart of an instructor? Because I think you love instructing people, mentoring, cheering people on. Do I have that right?
You do, yes.
All right then. So where can we make $70,000 or more doing that? That's the question you have to answer. And so you started the phone call, and George, we get this a lot. You start the phone call, Megan, where it feels very intimidating. This is a mountain I don't know how to climb. And I hope that I've been able to bring this down to the street level and go, all right, I can look for that. And I think you need to find instruction and encouragement and guiding and guidance in that job. And I think she'll be happy. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, and I love it. And as you were talking about that, I thought, you know what? Some of the greatest entrepreneurs saw a problem without a solution, and they just created it. So maybe one day Megan starts her own organization.
I agree.
In Memphis that provides this. And right now, the first step is, let me see how other organizations do it. Let me make money. Let me get out of this debt. Use that as fuel for your debt snowball to go, one day, I want to be debt free so that I can go start that thing.
And Megan, I want to add to what George said. He just said something, and that was really insightful. Maybe you just go get a really good $70,000 job, and it's not the dream job. It's not like super passion and purpose. And I'm the guy that teaches do work that's purposeful. But maybe you go get a really good paying job that gets us through baby step 2 and then baby step 3, Megan, and then you're working on the side. Maybe you're volunteering for this group of folks so that you're making progress on baby step 2, but your heart's still very much alive. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And George, thank you so much for saying that, because that kind of confirmed my thoughts about something possibly in retirement, that I actually start my own organization that has the different areas. So thank you for saying that.
You're so welcome. Well, I just said what I think was already in your heart. That's and we need people like you, Megan, in your community.
That's right.
So thank you for what you do.
And yeah, Megan, I to close this segment out, Megan's right. I don't know if you've ever volunteered or spent time around some of the folks she's talking about, but they have an unbelievable joy and an unbelievable innocence that I think we all in this day and age could probably use.
100%.
So love Megan and the folks that work with our, I don't like the whole idea of challenged and all that. I just think they're special, they're unique, they're different. They got a whole lot to offer this world.
A lot to contribute.
And I love that Megan and the folks that work with that group of people do. They are a lighthouse to all of us in some dark days. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. George Camel joins me. And we are here for you. 888-825-5225. Taking your money questions, your work questions. We'll take some relationship questions. I mean, hey, why not?
We've been married for how many years?
25.
Add my 5.
30 years.
30 years.
30 years of doing it wrong. That's what George and I are going to offer you.
That's what they want to know, the
that's
mistakes.
the expertise that you come for here on the Ramsey Show. All the ladies in the lobby like that. They thought that was funny.
Well, and Ken, I'm a parenting expert.
You are.
I've had a baby for 6 weeks now.
By the way, how's your sleep?
Not great, if I'm going to be honest. I'm holding it together with an Americano and a prayer today.
Okay, all right. It gets better.
Thank you.
It gets better. But boy, I'm glad I don't have to worry about bottles and diapers.
So many bottles.
Yeah. But I got the teenagers, whole different level of stress. So just you young parents, you're going to trade the physical exhaustion for emotional exhaustion. That's what's ahead for you parents of teens. Hey, Financial Peace University is the fastest way to beat debt and build wealth. It's not my opinion. It's not George's opinion. George, do we have the proof or not?
10 million people doing it with success, I feel like is enough proof for me personally.
Not bad case study there.
I'll take it.
So FPU, that's what we call Financial Peace University, is the most successful personal finance class in the world. It's helped millions of people, as George said, get out of debt and become millionaires and stop worrying about money. Over 9 weeks, this class teaches you everything you wish you'd learned about handling money, including budgeting, investing, real estate, and more. And the best part of FPU is the community. Stacey and I have led multiple classes. It is a special thing to realize I'm not alone in this, going through this with people who have the same goals. And get this, the average FPU graduate is debt-free, George, in 2 years or less.
Impressive.
Tell them where to go, George.
RamseySolutions.com/FPU to get started. And if you're thinking, well, I've heard the show, I've read the book, I'm telling you, you go through these 9 classes, about 9 hours of content with accountability and community, and you stick with it, it changes you. And so if you've been like, hey, I've been listening to you guys for a long time, haven't really done it, take that next step. And if your spouse isn't on the same page, this is the best thing you can do.
I agree.
To get them on that same page instead of using Dave as a cuss word in your house.
Uh-oh, there you go. All right, let's go to Los Angeles where Liz awaits. Liz, how can we help?
Hi, my husband and I have 3 kids. We're totally debt-free, and we have over $100,000 saved in cash.
Nice.
Probably going to be able to save another $100,000 in the next year. We are currently renting from my in-laws their house for super, super low cost, and they have no intention of raising it in the next, 20-plus years. Is it a good idea if we offer to buy the house off of them? Is the borrower still slave to the lender if they give us a discount on the house? Or I just don't know if it's a good idea or not.
Well, would they give you a discount? Has this been floated?
So we haven't actually got to sit down and talk with them yet, but the idea is that either we would inherit it later on, but I don't want to wait that long to just wait to see if we inherit it. And so I'm thinking that we'd be able to at least get some sort of a discount if we were to buy it.
Okay, what would the terms be? Have you talked to them about this at all?
No, so
Not a
right now
clue.
we're just renting. No, so
But they
we're
have
just
no clue.
saving and
Like, have they
renting.
even offered, hey, yeah, we'd be willing to sell it?
Nope, they've just talked about renting it.
This is all
because
hypothetical.
There's a lot of hypotheticals here,
Yeah.
which we can't get too far with that.
What do you
But
think
what's
the
house
market
worth?
is? Yeah.
I think the house is worth probably $700,000.
Okay.
And what's this discount that you got in your head
The
that nobody
hypothetical
else
discount.
knows about?
So they're inheriting their parents' house, and so they were basically saying that like once this house is either paid off, like on their mortgage, that we'd be able to either live in it and only pay them like a tiny bit, or get like I don't know. My husband is basically like wanting to just rent it forever, and I want to offer to buy it since I feel like we have the money to buy it.
Well, you
but I
haven't given me
feel like
the
they would-
price. What do you think the discount price is? And by the way, these are your in-laws, I'm guessing, yes?
Yes,
So
my
what's
husband's parents.
Okay, great. So what is this discount price you have in your head that you'd like your hubs to float up the ladder?
Even if it was like $5,000 off, or even just like the fact that we'd be able to buy it directly would be kind of like getting a discount, because in California, I feel like we couldn't buy anywhere else.
I don't know why
but if
you
we buy
feel
it
so
directly
stuck
from the
with this
owner-
house, all for a less than a 1% discount.
$5,000 is. I thought you were going to throw like $100,000 at me for starters.
Why is this house special to you?
I just feel like it's the best deal we're going to get around this area.
Let's say it's
because-
not a deal. Let's say they sell for market rate. Would you rather go buy another $700,000 house that fits your needs better, that you love more, if you're not renting at a discount anymore?
We really do love this house.
And you're
Like,
wanting to
we-
stay there for a long, long time.
Yes.
Feels like the Hubs wants to rent it until mom and dad pass on, and then whatever happens. Am I taking too much liberty with that?
No, he wants. Yeah, that's what he wants to do. He wants to invest the money that we're saving on really cheap rent. And he wants to. Just
I
wait
kind
to
of
see what
like that
happens.
deal myself.
Really?
Yeah, George.
Well,
you
there's
got issue with that?
No.
I like that move.
There's a few avenues. I eventually want you to become homeowner. So the idea
Yeah.
of we're going to rent for 30 years just to invest, I
Well,
don't
you're not
love.
going to rent for 30 years. How old are his parents?
They're only like 60, so I really do think it would be at least a good. 20,
Here's my thing. If you own it,
25
you're going to
years.
also own the appreciation. So what happens 20 years from now and you're done renting and they go, all right, we'll sell it to you. It's worth $1 million now. We'll give it to you for $990. And you're like, wow, thank you so much for the
Well,
discount.
this is a fair point.
That's also a concern.
But I mean, does he know if he's getting the house in the will? Is that already established? They're 60. That should probably be figured out by now, yes?
Yeah, that's what was discussed. Obviously, like I can't predict what's going to happen in 25 years.
Are there siblings involved?
so-
No. Hold
There
on a
are
second. Okay, sorry, George, good question. But what I'm saying is it already in the will that you and your Hubs are getting the house?
It would be split between the siblings.
Oh, well then
That
strike
feels like
everything.
a nightmare scenario waiting to happen.
Strike everything I just said. I would not rent the house.
Because what's going to happen is they're all going to go, well, we all agree we're going to sell this thing and take our profits and move on with our life.
Yeah.
Versus, or you guys are going to have to buy them all out and come up with hundreds of thousands of dollars to do this many, many years from now when the house is appreciated.
And George, it feels like this could get sticky too if they offer to buy the house and the siblings are going, well, wait a second, that's in the will.
Yeah.
Am
Liz,
I
honest,
right?
I answer questions the way I would handle them, and truthfully, I'm going to take this nice low rent and I'm going to save up a giant down payment and just go find another house.
Yep.
And if you end up able to buy this house at a great deal, then do it. But I would not put all of my eggs in this basket because there's too many variables. And it's going to get too messy. And the whole idea of like business and family getting mixed already gives me some heartburn. And I'd rather you just be able to own your situation and not have all this weird familial drama involved.
So you wouldn't invest the money that we're saving.
I mean, invest is a strong word. I go, well, how soon are we going to get a house? If it's 3 years from now, I don't want to invest that money. If we're talking 5 years from now, then sure, 5 to 10 years of time horizon, we can invest this money and see a meaningful return.
So, like, if we were to invest in the next 10 years, let's say, and we just continue with this really low rent, and then
I
we
wouldn't
take
rent
out
for
those
10 years,
investments-
though. I would rather get you in a house 3 years from now when you have the money to do it. When you're financially ready, you got a 15-year fix, 25% of your take-home pay in the area you want, the home you love, then just bite the bullet and get the house and pay off the mortgage early, and you own your life. And you're not worried about what's going to happen with a will and what the siblings are going to do. That just exhausts me.
Yeah, I agree. That got a little too complex there, and it just doesn't make any sense.
And it doesn't sound like we're going to get the deal of a century on this house at a 1% discount. You can go find that. You can go negotiate that right now with a stranger on the block.
Oh, God bless her. Or maybe she needs a negotiation class, because I was shocked she threw I was thinking $5,000 off.
$1, Bob.
$1. It's like, let's make a deal, right? Very interesting. Yikes. All right, folks. George has a little bit of heartburn. I'll break out the Tums during the break, and we'll be right back. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. George Camel joins me. The phone number to jump in is 888-825-5225. Our scripture of the day comes from Matthew 6, verse 34. Therefore, do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble. Our quote from Robert Orban. Every day I get up and look through the Forbes list of the richest people in America. If I'm not there, I go to work. All right.
Hey.
A little intense, Robert.
I didn't know that. Is that one of your life goals?
No.
I don't think I'm ever going to get there, Ken. I'm okay with that, though.
I mean, getting up every day and checking out the Forbes list, I mean,
it's exhausting.
It's a recipe for a lot of frayed nerves, I think, but I don't know. But nonetheless, there it is. All right, let's go to New York, New York. Max is there. Max, how can we help?
Hi. So I recently invested 20 months ago in a piece of real estate. I got it for $385,000. It's probably worth at least $500,000 today, but probably like $500,000 to $550,000. And the problem is I'm 25 years old, and I've been kind of renting out rooms while living here to friends, and everything's going great. But my co-signer was not a parent or a girlfriend. Is actually a person that I've worked with at a restaurant. And she recently told me that she would like her name to get off of the loan so that she could start looking for a piece of real estate for herself. And my loan is not assumable. And the only way for me to get her name off is to refinance, which would double my interest rate right now.
Oh, where's my Tums? Where's the
Max? Dude, this is like a Dumb and Dumber sequel. How did you guys get into this mess? So you can't afford the house, and this friend is like, hey, bro, I'll sign for you.
Yeah,
I'm
why
good
not?
for the money. Did you not think about what would happen later on down the line and whether or not they're going to want a piece of this and how they're going to get their name off?
So I thought about it, and because I'm a contractor type, so I thought, okay, within 2 years, I'll be able to refinance, and because I only put about 5% down.
As you do when you're broke and can't afford a house.
Yes, and my goal was to work up at least 20% equity, which I'm pretty positive I have now.
Okay.
So I went in with the mindset of, okay, I'll fix this up. I'll get the
and that interest
off.
rates would stay the same forever. And now,
Yeah.
Okay, so your only option here is to refinance to get their name off the loan, and you're saying if I refinance, it's going to double my payment.
I mean, yeah, it'll just definitely make it higher, and I've kind of broken even in terms of renting the rooms out.
No, you're just broke. I mean, the whole this money making scheme of getting roommates is not panning out. You're about to lose this house. You can't afford it.
Yeah, Max, have you run the numbers? Like, when you say go up a little bit, it's doubling. What is that going to do
let's
to
say
you?
the payment doubles, your roommates keep paying you the same, you're now underwater, aren't you?
If I don't think, I have one more room that I can rent, and I was just about to make passive.
And what happens when they don't pay or when it's vacant?
Then it's a bad move, I know.
So we've got to look at some other solutions here. One of them might be we have to sell this place. Mm-hmm. That was once a dream, has now become the nightmare.
Yeah.
We stepped into it too soon, too early, with a friend who co-signed who now wants out of it. And I don't know are they still friends with you? I imagine the friendship is not going to last very long.
It's surprised there's no real hard feelings with it. She was just, under the impression that at that 2-year mark that I would be, we'd be ready to refinance and get her off, which I...
And how many years has it been?
It's been not even 2 years. It's been 20 months.
Okay. And so what is the payment now, and what would it be if you refinance?
So I think the payment now is close to $2,800, and the refinance payment I think is I checked about 2 weeks ago, but it was I imagine between $3,400 and $3,600.
And that's with current interest rates?
I think so, yeah.
And that's on a 30-year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what are you making right now with the roommates renting?
So currently $2,600, and I have another room open that I could easily get $700 to $800 for.
Okay, and you haven't, essentially, you've not been paying much rent at all? Or
No.
Okay.
The majority, I mean, when I first got it, it was a cosmetic, fixer-upper, so a lot of the rooms needed paint. And
what was your long-term play on this?
My long-term play was to buy this house to kind of just rent out until I could afford it on my own, and then maybe kind of do the BRRRR method. And if I rented this out with, either a full family or the people that are still here, I'd be able to do the same thing on another piece of.
Okay, first of all, you realize you're in the hostel business now. That's essentially what you're doing. You're running a hostel.
And you're about to be...
You're living in it with all these people. I got another room. Come on. And it's just, this is wackadoodle, I think, for this.
What's your income every month?
Every month I make about $4,000.
Okay. So number one, you're going to have to float the difference as we deal with whatever the next few months look like. So you're going to have to start paying a bunch of rent.
I'd sell the house, George. You told him to sell the house.
I think you need to get out of this thing. I truly don't think you're going to. Anyone who's, if you've kind of you've been watching the TikToks about the BRRRR method and everyone in the real estate business, dude, this is the way you become a real estate guru. Trust me. Well, this is the reality of it.
Yeah, but run the scenario for him real quick, George. Cast vision. If he sells it right now with this equity.
Yeah, what would you get out of this? If you sold it, you gave your, do they get a share with the appreciation?
So they only did this, and it seems crazy. This was someone that was my boss for a really long time, and she wanted 0%, in it unless I defaulted, and then we would have to kind of rediscuss. But essentially, she didn't want anything. She just did it to help me.
Out of the goodness of their heart.
Okay, so how much money would you make if you sell it today for the $550?
On the loan, I think I owe about $365. So I would make close to $200.
And then you'd be out of this mess, and you would actually gotten out of this. What?
But with the closing costs and everything, I'd probably, that would take another $20,000 off or so, I'd imagine.
Let's say you walk away with $175 and you're out of this mess, and you're not having to worry about having 6 roommates just to fill the thing and hope one of them doesn't vacate and hope you don't have to evict one and hope you don't have to pay the rent to make up the difference. But right now, the refinancing at the current rates and paying $4,000 a month and trying to deal with this, it feels like too much of a nightmare for as young as you are and as much success as you could have in the future.
Okay.
Could you get a cheaper place if you sold it and put $175 down?
The thing is, in this neighborhood I'm in, within an hour of Manhattan, there's, it's very competitive, and it's really difficult.
It's New York City. It's always going to be competitive.
Max, why did you call us? Did you want us to validate what you're doing, or are you even open to what we just told you?
Well, I've been listening into the show trying to find a similar situation, and I couldn't really, find one. And I figured you guys would tell me to just sell it. But
yeah, because you're about to have a $4,000 mortgage payment, and you make $4,000 a month.
Yeah.
That's the scary part.
And you're a landlord, running a hostel. You're going to be stressed out of your mind. You've got a get out of jail card here. And we're telling you to take it. But I don't know if you care more about your mental, emotional, and financial health, or disappointing people on TikTok that you don't even know because they told you to do it. It feels like there's this, you think we're giving you this unconventional wisdom.
You got to choose reality, as my friend Dr. John Deloney would say. And the reality is, this was a risky gamble that did not pay off, and it's time to get out while we still have our butt.
Speaking of getting out while we still have our butt, this has been a great hour. Thank you, George. Thanks, James Childs and the team for keeping us on the air. To you, the audience, this is The Ramsey Show. Hey, it's Ken. If you like what you heard in this episode and want to know more about getting started on the Ramsey baby steps, go to RamseySolutions.com and click on the Get Started button. We'll help you figure out the best next step for you based on your specific situation. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started.